where they make up nearly 80% of workers, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's 16.4 million women. When it comes to education, in 1960, women earned less than 35% of all bachelor's degrees. Today, they earn roughly 58% of all bachelor's degrees, which Pearl herself benefited from after graduating from Elmhurst University. Women also earn over 60% of master's degrees. I hope to hear Pearl explain how a more educated and skilled population somehow translates to cultural decline, especially as we compete with China in this increasingly multipolar world. The modern feminist movement also had a major impact on decreasing domestic violence, and that's according to the US Department of Justice. Rates of intimate partner violence decreased by more than 60% from 1994 to 2010. And that's thanks to protective order statutes and funding for shelters beginning in the 1970s and 80s. Not only did the two-income household become more financially resilient, especially during economic downturns, women gained the ability to leave abusive relationships, an outcome correlated with improved child health and educational attainment. A culture that protects people from violence is not one that's indicative of cultural decline. Pearl herself has benefited greatly from the feminist movement, thanks to Title IX in 1972, signed by Nixon, of course. Sex-based discrimination in any school program or activity that receives federal funding is...
Y'all forgot to change the title again. I'll edit it when we're done. The fuck? I do this shit every time. Shit is crazy.
Is prohibited. Pearl herself had a rather impressive record playing for Elmhurst University's volleyball team, having earned all conference honors as a senior. She later pursued professional volleyball in London.
And has spent the last 20 years saving five.
Take your microphone out and hold it. It would be easier to hear you.
Okay. Alimony and medical care and dental are not covered by that, so a lot of times it does go above 50%. Again, you can go through the facts, the data, and the statistics and manipulate them any way that you want.
It's not manipulation.
There are
Those are the stats.
there are 1.6 million men in this country. Men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce.
Compared to women, what's the number for women?
It's lower.
Really? What is it?
I'm gonna tell y'all straight off the back, right? So, Pearly made some good points, but she couldn't cite her sources, man. She kind of messed up on that end right there. You coming into a debate and you just start throwing shit out there. And I think because she's on a live stage, the other girl is real aggressive. So she kind of like froze up a little bit. But nonetheless, I still think she did decent. I just think that when she kind of like moves real slow or she has a long rebuttal time, that's just her personality. Like she just kind of like real chill. Now, granted, I'm not following either two of these women, but this was an interesting debate though.
Comparative analysis is real difficult for you, isn't it?
Okay.
Go ahead, Pearl.
What's your next question?
You have asserted that men shouldn't get married, that instead they should shack up.
I didn't say that.
You did say that with Trent Horn. Word for word, you said it makes more sense for them to shack up, live with a girlfriend instead of getting married. Do you think the advice that you give to men is the type of advice that will fulfill their lives? Because I'll tell you one thing, the best part of my life is my husband. I love my husband. He's my rock, he's my foundation. And no, my husband is number one. I love my career, but you know what my career did? When I met my husband, my career was already established. He, on the other hand, was couch surfing. He was in debt and didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. I married him anyway. You want to know why? Because I had...
Why are you putting that man's business out there like that, man? Why are you putting that man's business out there like that? You can't do that. See, that's what I'm trying to say. You know, you let people talk long enough, man, they start little things will start seeping out. You ain't gonna, maybe she spoke to him about it. Maybe he was cool with it. Fuck it.
The economic freedom to marry for love, not for some Chad to take care of me.
How tall is he?
Oh, he's 6'1", about your height. None, I don't want kids.
I don't-
Let's
Why
not
don't-
do shouting questions from there, please. Allow these two to debate each other.
Okay, what's your question?
I mean, you don't really have much to answer, so I don't know what else to ask you. Do you think you're helping men by discouraging them from entering fulfilling marriages?
What happens to men if they don't pay child support?
I mean,
What happens?
Now, this part was real interesting. Again, I'm gonna look at this as objectively as possible because they both made good points. But she had to keep honing in on this question. She was like, "Yo, you know what happens when men don't pay child support, right?" But she didn't want to answer that question. But the reason why she was alluding to that was because her follow up, one of her follow up questions was, "Can men opt out of fatherhood?" And basically, she was like, "No," or her response was somewhere along that line. Because her point was because women opt out of motherhood all the time. So that was the point she was trying to make. But she ran from that one, where she was smart, because answering that question would have took her down a whole fucking rabbit hole, right? Again, I'm looking at this objective. I ain't taking nobody's side. You know, you got one feminist over here. You got another one that's not feminist over here. You know, so I ain't taking nobody's side. This is just an objective, some objective feedback. Let's see what she's talking.
What happens, Anna?
What happens, Anna?
how many men do you think get
What
arrested?
happens to
I don't know
men
what the
when they
number
don't
is.
get-
But the
What
idea that
happens
there's
to
like a
men when
huge
they
number
don't-
of men getting arrested for not doing what they're supposed to do
15%.
and take care of their children, it's not a huge issue.
What happens to men when they don't
Really,
pay child support?
only
You gotta-
60% of
hold on,
child
hold on,
support
hold on,
payments
Anna. You
get
gotta
paid
allow
out.
her to-
She dodging that question. She's dodging that question, and she repeatedly asked her what happens to men when they don't pay child support. She's dodging that question, and I'm gonna tell you something real quick. The answer is you go to jail. That's the answer, right? So in her mind, she's basically saying, well, look, if women can go out here and put kids up for abortion, or women adoption, or women can get abortion, women can cop out of being mothers. Then her simple question was, hey, can men cop out of being fathers? Hey, I'm just repeating what they said. I'm just keeping y'all updated on where the debate is going. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta allow her to interrogate you, not them. You gotta stop yelling questions
Look,
at her.
you can minimize men's problems all you want, but I don't think you understand how privileged of a position you're in.
In what way? How am I privileged?
Men are the ones that are on the hook for child support. Men are the ones that are on the hook for alimony. It's easy for you to tell men to just take the risk when you're not in that position.
So are you asserting that men shouldn't pay child
Men-
support following a divorce? Do you believe that women should be financially responsible 100% after a divorce?
Feminists wanted to be equal. So I say be equal. If you guys want equality, 50-50 custody, no child support, no alimony, no special.
And see, so this is where the debate is going to go left field, right? Because here's the deal, right? I'm for equality. I'm for it. Okay, I believe that this ain't the 50s and 60s. I think that women have shown that they are working bodies. I think if women want to work, and I think that's great. I think equality is awesome. It'd be less burden for men to carry. You know what I'm trying to say? So you go out to eat. So basically, if there was an equality thing, that means that we eradicate the whole provider situation. Okay, and I'm like in agreement with that because I don't believe in providing for. You family, that's a different thing. Girlfriend, people out there, I'm not taking care of a fucking adult. So if you're a woman and you're dating, that whole men should take care of you, that should be eradicated. And the reason why that being is because we're not living in traditional times, and I believe in women. I really fucking do. What I don't understand, and I guess what Pearl is hitting to this too, is you can't say you want equality and then turn around and say, yeah, I want a protector and a provider. Equality means that you got to protect and provide for yourself now. That's what it means. But anyway, I'm just analyzing. I'm letting y'all know what she's breaking it down at. This shit gets good.
Privileges.
Alimony is paid out in 10%
It doesn't
of
matter if
divorces.
you're part of the
It does matter.
10%.
It does matter because you make it
doesn't matter if
seem
you're
like
part of the 10%.
it's a widespread issue when
The
it's
tender
only
years
10%.
doctrine is a sexist law against men. That's sexist.
How is it sexist if a
where have you
woman
guys-
decided to
it
forego a
assumes
career, decided to be a stay-at-home mother, and the marriage doesn't work out, she has no job, she has no income, so you think it's unfair to get support from her ex-husband so she can raise the kids?
This conversation is tricky because I get what she's saying, right? Like, nobody with common sense is going to say, hey, look, we just want to see women left out there like that. But here's the crazy part. She's basically coming from a point where they're talking about alimony, okay? And she's like, well, damn, if the woman stays home and takes care of the kids, you know, she's not in the workforce, what is she going to do for money? So Pearlie, her response was get a job like men do. Now listen. When you got a group of people, which in this case is feminists, they say, hey, listen, we want equality. But here's the crazy shit about that. If we start drafting all women and send them on the front line of war like they do men, everyone's going to have a problem with that because don't nobody want to see dead women laying in the streets. Right? So there is not going to be no equality. That's bullshit. Trust me, they don't truly want equality. But here, for me, listen, I say give people what they want because in order for people to know they don't want something, they first have to actually go through it. You know what I'm trying to say? But anyway, let's let the video play though. Yo, this shit was packed with some jewels, man. No pun intended.
So she can pay.
60% of kids under 5 have daycare. Daycare is an option now. You wanted to be men.
Do you know how much daycare costs?
You wanted to be men. Here you
Do you know
have
how much
it.
daycare costs? Do you think it's free?
Let her answer. Let her answer.
A lot of things are expensive, Anna. I mean, it's men.
That's not an answer.
Women have 85% of consumer spending. Women spend money all the time. You spend money on hair dye. You spend money on Botox. You spend money.
You should think about it.
Now, this was the part I was telling you about. A lot of people, to an untrained eye, think she did horrible in this debate, but that's just how her demeanor is just kind of real laid back, right? So you see how the girl said, you know, women like they're the most biggest consumers. They like to spend money. She started naming some things. One thing amongst many things was Botox, right? So she took a shot at her and was like, yeah, you should think about getting some. Now, as you can see, she did not rebut back. She did not fight back. She just let it roll, right? Because that's just what personality she got. So sometimes it can look like someone's being defeated if they don't say something. And this is why we have a reactionary world. It's almost like somebody attacks you. You got to say something back. Because when people look at all the optics, they're like, oh, man, so they gave it to him. They stuck it to him. No, they didn't. They just didn't respond the way you wanted them to respond. So sometimes not responding is not a form of weakness. But some people around you that don't have the eye for it, they can look at it as weakness. Let's move forward.
I sure am.
Fuck. We ain't gonna do that. We good.
You spend money all of the time.
Yep.
So you wanted to be men. Here it is. You're equal. Pay for daycare.
Equality means that when you have a child or
No. We're not gonna put our own twist on shit. Equality means that we are absolutely the same, which means the rules apply to the both of us equally. Women don't want that. Hell, men don't even want that. That'd be horrible. Nobody wants to see that. Can you imagine if the rules that apply for men also apply for women too? Women don't want that. Men don't even want that. That'd be fucking horrible. Anyway. But she's not answering these questions, and she's smart by doing that because she knows what the clip up's going to be. This lady been on television for like 30 years, so she's used to having these, you know, these different diatribes and whatnot, and she knows what answers to, you know, and this is all debating. It's no problem on. Like I said, I'm looking at this in an objective way possible. But let's go.
children, you're both responsible. So the idea that the woman should take 100% of the costs on herself without any help from...
Well, so it's not, we don't think that. Feminism said that's what they wanted to do. They said they wanted to go out and find equality. So when you're talking about carrying the load 100%, if you're going to be equal to men, if that's what you're fighting for, you know, men are known as providers. It's like society tells men have to provide. So I mean, but when you get hit, oh, I got to pay 100% of the bills, you say that's not right. We agree. So equality isn't good for it. It's not going to work for you. I mean, what are we missing here? If society tells men that they should be providers, right? Which I'm in total agreement with that. But then a group of women come out and say, hey, we want to be equal. Men are no different. We're equal to them. So now the responsibility falls on us equally. The rules apply to both of us. That's equally. So now we're equal. She's going to have to step into provider mode. You can't say, oh, I want to be equal to men. And then when it comes time you provide 100%, which men are asked to do. If you don't do that, you're not a man. But she wants to be equal to a man. But then when you ask her to take care of 100% of the responsibility, she's like, oh my God, no. How can you think of something like that? It's all bullshit. But let's roll.
Her husband or ex-husband is ridiculous. How is that fair?
Well, how is it fair that he doesn't get 50-50 custody?
Well, first of all, why are you asserting that they don't?
It's 50% his DNA. Why can't he have 50% custody? Where
There
has
was a
feminists
study.
been? I've been
Let
on
me answer
20
your question, even though I should be
different-
interrogating you. I'll answer your question. Massive study out of Massachusetts that looked at 24,000 divorces. In those 25 divorces, they found that in only 8% of cases did men ask for custody. 8%.
Right, because the average American can't afford divorce fees, Anna.
Right. So let me break this down to you, right? So most of the time when they go through these custody battles, right, it doesn't oblige, it doesn't make sense for, in some cases, the men would rather just work it out with the wife instead of going through or paying all these court fees and still ending up end up getting custody of the child, right? So they'll end up, you all know the saying, it's cheaper to keep it, right? So it's not that men don't want it. It's just that men are just strategic about it and they understand how the game goes. So it's like, why kick out all that goddamn money if I'm going to end up losing anyway? Sometimes the lawyers would even advise you to do that, right? So let's go ahead. Let's finish what they talking about.
But women
It
can
costs
afford to raise the
$25,000 to
children
get a
by themselves
divorce.
without support from the ex-husband.
Yo, this is a misunderstanding here. It's not that we saying you don't need support. You're saying you don't need support. That's the whole feminine movement. We don't need men. We do it all by ourselves. Fuck you. That's the feminism stance. We're not saying that. I'm definitely not saying that. She's not saying that. But she's sitting over there saying, "Oh, we're just supposed to just take 100% of the workload." No, you saying you want to take 100% of the workload. That's what feminism is. Equality. So again, there's always conversation is important because there's always a little twist up. And the reason why there's twist ups because I've learned when they have a conversation, they really don't like to listen. Everybody just wants to be right. Everybody's not listening to understand and listening to respond. So and there's always these small point of contentions where people get lost in translation. Yeah.
How does that make sense?
What did you say? I didn't hear you. We were both talking.
You're complaining about the costs while simultaneously arguing that a woman should not get child support in order to raise the children that the former couple had together.
Are you guys equal or not?
There you go.
You
That
Yes,
part.
equality means that
All
you're
right.
both
All right, then. So if you equal, son, you don't need no goddamn child support. So, listen. Sometimes, it's crazy. Sometimes I get a little bit flustered over here because, you got different angles on how you see things, right? Like they always say, man, it takes an extra set of eyes. You might find something, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes, things got to be peer reviewed. Ideas, thoughts, books need to be peer reviewed before they're released out into the public, because I think sometimes while people are in the heat of the moment or they're debating, sometimes we shoot out things that we really don't even paying attention to what we even said in the first place.
responsible
50
for raising the children, and that includes the
so
costs
you should have
of raising the
equality,
children.
but not at the expense of men. 50-50 custody. 50.
Yeah, because if it's going to be equal, then that means if you guys are in court for the children, nobody has to pay anything. It should be 50-50. I don't owe you child support, you don't owe me child support. The kid is with you, you provide. The kid is with me, I provide. That would be equality. But that don't work for them. That wouldn't work for them. So what I'm going to tell you is, if you gave women equality for 1 fucking year, they're going to say, you know what, it's not for us. We probably take this back. I don't, I want to be equal until you get into a fight with a grown man, and then all of a sudden you turn into a woman again. It's like, I'm equal. I'm this. I could this. Fine, great. I love it for you. You get into a fight with a guy, all of a sudden you magically turn into that damsel in distress again. It doesn't work that way. Equality is not really something that women truly want. But listen, I believe that people should do what they want to do in life if you're not harming anybody. So I don't see what the problem is. I say if you want it, man, fuck it, give it to them. You know what I mean? Shit. Hell. It ain't like we can't use no help around this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
50-50, no child support, no alimony. That's equality. You don't want
Alimony
equality.
makes sense.
Now, you know damn well, listen, you know damn fucking well, right? If if a woman is dating a millionaire, she ain't walking away not taking nothing. Because that woman side gonna kick back in. That victim gonna kick back in. That, what am I gonna do? I mean, I gotta live and survive. See, men can't do that. Men do that. They weak. They pathetic. They. You gotta discard these type of men. Society rejects them. So if you're talking about equality, you gonna have to carry it like that. Equality would mean you'd be shamed for taking a man's money, just like a man is shamed for taking a woman's money. Everybody should be shamed for this type of behavior, but that's not going to happen though. That's not going to happen. You know? Equality. What are we going to do about it?
The woman was
you
a
want-
stay-at-home mother and doesn't have a source of income. How else would she take care of the kids following a divorce?
By getting a job just like the men.
Damn. Now you see, what's happening here is that from one side, so here's the deal, right? On one side, you have her complaining about what is she going to do, or what is the wife going to do for money? You done fucked up already. When you talking about equality, you're not in the room to complain about that no more. Because nobody gives a fuck or cares if men are in a hard situation. They say, you're a man, you got to figure it out. What if we treated women like that? What if we just said, hey, you're equal now, just figure it out? You know how, like, when you're a grown man, women don't like giving you money. They like, yo, you're a grown-ass man. Or people don't even like giving you money. They say, you're a grown-ass man. What if society just stopped catering to women and just say, hey, man, you guys are equal. You're grown. Go out here and figure it out. That would be equality, right? So I'm pointing out that I get it. I understand where she's coming from. I do understand there's a miscommunication here. In her mind, she's like, well, damn, alimony, helps the wife take care of the kids, especially if she was at home, being a house mother. She's been out of the workforce. I get it. I get it. She doesn't get it, though. When you're asking for equality, all of that, we don't give a shit about it no more because it's equal now. The last thing women want is to be treated like men. This shit is crazy.
So you're saying that a woman who doesn't have recent job history is just going to willy-nilly enter the job force or workforce, I should say, and easily get hired?
No, you're going to suffer. You're going to have to go through hardship, just like the men do. Life is going to eat your ass up, and no one's going to give a fuck. But no one's going to do that in your case because when we look at you, we're going to say, oh, she's just a woman. Somebody help that woman. Well, we can't let this woman go through this. Women gather sympathy of the men around them and people around them. So, yeah, it's bad. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why women would even want to say, hey, we want equality. Like, really? Yo, if a fucking burglar breaks into your wife's home, son, you're not expecting your wife to go down there and fight the enemies off while you hide upstairs. You're not doing that. You mean to tell me it's going to be okay, society, that intruders come in the house and you like, hey, baby, you take this one. I'm going to sit this one out. I got the last one. Yo, what are we talking? Yo, what are we talking about here? But nah, but let's go. There's some good shit though, man. Respect to both of these women. I think they did an excellent job. Real live.
Do you guys care
Men
about
do
this?
it.
I'm lying, but it's the right thing to say.
So do you care about the children or not? Because you're making this about
Fuck them kids. I'm lying. That was horrible. I'll take that back.
like the
What are you, a
poor
woman? That's an
husband, the
emotional
poor
argument.
ex-husband who doesn't want to pay the child support, doesn't want, to take on any of the responsibilities of having children in the first place. Why is it that you seem to have a problem with men carrying out their responsibilities, but when it comes to
men are dying to care about their responsibilities. Men
Really?
are fighting to be a part of their kids' lives.
what's the empirical data on that?
I don't need data. How many
And this is where she fucks up. I don't need data. What you mean you don't need fucking data? You started off the whole conversation with about on my show. I looked at the statistic numbers and the facts. So, sometimes when you're unprepared, you just got to be like, yo, I'm unprepared. I fucked up. But nonetheless, that was the only mistake Pearl made in this debate. She got caught out there a couple of times. And that doesn't necessarily mean she's wrong. It just means that she wasn't prepared. And I would agree with that. You can't say, no, the data don't matter. What the fuck you mean the data don't matter? The data matters when you want it to matter. And you ass got caught out there, now the data don't matter. Again, I'm being objective with the whole thing. Let's roll.
people in here have had a family or a friend fight for their kid and not be able to get it? The reason that this
Facts.
happens, Anna, is because lawyers tell them not to fight because it's so expensive and they won't win.
What is
They
that
won't
based on?
win.
You have to provide, look, Pearl, I am open to be convinced, but I need more than anecdotes. I need more than vibes and feelings. Because we're talking about something serious here. We're talking about raising children. We're talking about the shared responsibility of raising children. That, of course, includes the cost.
90% of disputed custody goes to women. That's not equal.
90%, that's a totally made up statistic. Where are you citing that from?
All right, let's take a break there because our time actually ran up. Those opening
And
interrogations.
see, this is why I tell people, listen, if you're going to have a debate, study for your debate, make sure you got all your grounds covered, make sure you know the data, numbers, and statistics, because you could be completely right, but then you don't know something or you get something wrong, it's going to set you back, because like I said, perception is greater than reality. Whether you win or lose the debate, it all depends on how the people feel, what they can relate to. So it's very, very important. It's imperative that if you're going to debate and have these conversations, you got to be well equipped. Because, again, I don't think Pearl is wrong about anything she's saying. I think the other lady's delusional. But the problem with Pearl is that she didn't do her research. Well, I say that loosely. She did her research, but she just wasn't prepared. And sometimes that happened with stage fright. It doesn't fucking matter what the excuse was. The excuse was she didn't have the answers for those questions. So she's going to have to eat that and move on, make it up in the latter rounds,
Are open. Let's take a moment here. You guys want to grab a sip of water? All right. The next step is going to be 30 minutes. We're going to open it up. Again, open debate. I'd remind you guys, I know everyone's passionate about this. I get that. But we can't have multiple people debating at the same time, right? We've got one debater here. We got one debater here. Let's keep it here. All right? Let's put 30 minutes on the clock. And let's begin the open debate. Pearl, I'll let you pick up here. Go ahead.
What happens to men when they don't pay child support?
She honing down.
There
she
are
doubling down on
consequences
that
for it,
shit.
especially when
Which
there's a
are-
court order for them to
Which
carry
are-
out their responsibility and pay child support so that child can be raised.
And what happens
Do you
if they
think
don't
there
pay
shouldn't
it?
be legal responsibilities or legal consequences if they fail to carry out a court order to, take care of their kids?
I've interviewed men that have paid millions of dollars in
Don't
child
care about your
support and
interviews.
married-
Anecdotal evidence doesn't matter. What I need is actual, statistic, empirical evidence. They should pay their child support. $441
What happens-
is the average child support payment. $441 a month.
Yeah, that's for someone that makes $24,000 a year.
You just told me a woman can just go to work and take care of the kids totally by herself.
How does a guy live when he's paying $500 a month on $24,000 a year?
You think $500 a month is too much in child support? Do you know how much it costs to raise a child? Do you know how much childcare costs, for instance? I mean, that mother has to go to work, right? Where's the kid gonna stay while that mother is working? How is she gonna pay for the
What happens to men when they don't
daycare?
pay child support?
Hey,
Sorry,
look, she avoiding that question. This is like the 6th time she asked her that question. She said, hey, what happens when they don't pay child support?
Say that again?
What happens to men when they don't pay child support?
There are legal repercussions for not carrying out a court mandate
Do you think that
to do something.
Do you think that fraud should be illegal?
Absolutely.
Okay. So why is it not illegal for women to fraud men on paternity? If a man does not find out he's the father over the age of 2, he is on the hook for child support for 18 years.
I don't know
Where
what
have
the
you
law
been on
is
this
when it
issue?
comes to that. But it's wrong. If you're lying about paternity, that is wrong, and there should be legal consequences
why
for
haven't
that.
feminists fought?
It's that simple.
Then why aren't feminists fighting for it, Anna?
Because feminists fight for women, obviously.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
At the expense of men. That's my. You
So
guys
y'all
want
saw-
to believe women at the expense of men. Why isn't Amber Heard in
You see what I'm trying to say right now? So what we got here is, are feminism really fighting for equality? That's the question. The question is, are feminists really fighting for equality? Because if they were fighting for equality, then they'll be fighting to go to war on the front line. They'll be fighting for that. They will be in court pissed off, telling them, hey, listen, why can't we go fight? Send us to Iran. Let's go. We want to be on the front line. None of that bullshit, hospital shit, medical. Oh, we just sit on the outskirts while everybody's really fucking getting shot the hell up. Yo, we need to be on the front line. If feminists really want equality, they'll be fighting for those. If feminists was really fighting for equality, they'll be going to fucking court saying, I don't need no alimony. I can do it myself. What are you talking about? That's what we fought for. I don't need this alimony from this man. Why do I need this alimony from this man? I am equal. They should be insulted. The fact that the courts want to give them alimony so they can live. And that's if they was really fighting for equality. But what we come to realize is that, again, it's not about equality. It's equality when it benefits them. So that's the point she's trying to make in the debate. I think it's crazy when people say, oh, feminisms, they're fighting for equality. If you really pay attention to it, they're not fighting for equality at all. Not at all. Not even a little bit.
jail? Because of the Me Too movement, you guys pushed believing all rape victims, and now we have rape.
Amber Heard had to pay out a massive settlement.
Yeah, but why isn't she in jail?
You want her in jail?
Yes.
Well,
He ruined his
the penalties
life.
for defamation are what the court's decision is, right? You want people to go to prison for defamation?
He had to go to 2 different countries to clear his name. Why isn't she in jail? He lost millions of dollars.
To be clear, you think the penalty for defamation is prison time?
I think the penalty for a false accusation is that the woman should get the same time that he would have gotten if he was found guilty.
Facts. Now, just imagine that. Just imagine if you said somebody, you accuse somebody of rape, right? Let's say you did that. And then it comes to find out that the accusation was false. She's saying, you know what? However time that person would have gotten, the person that falsely accused should get. Man, let me tell you something real quick, yo. Actually, it's kind of 2 things that can happen with that. That has its pros and its cons too, now that I'm thinking about it. But let me tell you what would happen with this situation, right? People will be reluctant to just go out spreading false accusations if they know they can go to jail for spreading them. And not just go to jail. I'm talking about you're going to get the same amount of time as the person you accused. Also, this can backfire. This can say, hey, listen, you could have got raped and don't want to say nothing because you're scared you might be found not innocent and you have to do time. So, I mean, that can go either way on that one. But, that's very interesting. I'll ponder on that one a little bit more. I'll definitely ponder on that one a little bit more. But I am in agreements that you accuse somebody of something like grape, and you find out that that person is lying, you should get the same amount of time as that person would have got if they would have been found guilty. Should get more. You can't just be going out here just saying shit that ain't true. Oh, he did this, he did that. And sometimes it is true, right? So, what we gonna do?
Men don't go to prison for defamation.
And see, this is the problem with feminists. You want all these freedoms, but you won't actually be equal.
I do
Be
want
equal.
equality.
No, if you want
No, you don't, chick. You don't want no goddamn equality.
it to be equal, you would fight for 50-50 child support, no alimony.
No alimony. So again, if a woman decided to forego working, decided to stay home to raise the children, and the marriage doesn't work out, she's got no income whatsoever, she
Well,
doesn't
number
deserve
one,
any
women aren't
alimony.
even doing that.
Hell no, you don't deserve it. Nobody in the world deserves any goddamn thing. Fuck you mean that she deserve it? Now listen, me personally, if she stays a woman, yes, we think she deserves it. But the moment you say you want equality, then that goes out the window. So maybe it would suffice for you guys to fight for your rights, but not ask for equality. Do you know if I go to my boss and I tell his boss, hey, listen, I want equal responsibility with him, that means I'm going to have to do equal the amount of work. That means that I am going to be castigated and reprimanded for the same thing on his level. I can't say I'm equal to my boss and then when shit hits the fan, hey man, look, I'm just an associate. I'm just an associate. That's what we doing here.
Number one, that's not even women are not staying home with the kids. And number two, you have daycare.
A lot of women
You
do
have-
these days,
you
actually.
have daycare as a choice.
The traditional
Again.
women who want to stay home, they want to be traditional wives. And you trash them all the time, which I don't understand.
if
It
feminists
seems like
cared
women
about
can't do anything
equality,
right when it
look.
comes to you, right?
If
They're
feminists-
stay-at-home moms,
if-
they're traditional,
Respond.
they're...
You ask her a question,
I
let her respond.
understand that you can personally attack me. That's fine.
I'm not personally attacking you.
Okay.
These are things that you have said on the record multiple times.
But if you cared about equality, you would care about false accusations. You would
I do care about false accusations,
No,
yep.
you don't.
You don't know me. You don't know what I care about.
Look, all right. Let's talk about rights that men
She
do not
said,
have.
look, all right.
Men do.
She said, look, all right. Yo, Pearl funny as shit low key, yo. She got one of them attitudes where she just be like, oh, I don't even think she wanted to do the debate, but she said it's good for the cause. The conversation needs to be held. I've seen her on a couple of interviews, but she gets stressed out. She just kind of just be like, oh, I got to go through this fucking shit again. This is crazy.
Do not have the right to be enlisted in selective service. We have 125K men who were drafted and buried overseas. Think about that over a second. You talk about the oppressions of the past, but how many men died in World War I and World War II and had no choice? And yet Anna complains about.
Right. I mean, think about it, yo. You got men in the military every day, every year for the last 10, 20, 100 years dying so they can keep children and women safe. You want equality, then you know what that equals to? Let's send all the women to war so they can die in the streets and keep the men safe. That's weird, right? That don't even sound right. Think about it. The women have to go to war while the men sit back. It's y'all turn. We take each war, we take turns. Keep it equal. So now women go to war in masses, like not just a few of them. Majority of the women go to war. The men, we play the little Medicaid roles. We just come in and patch y'all up and shit like that. Okay. And y'all keep us safe. And the children, that don't even fucking sound right. Yeah, but they're saying we want equality. Come on now, that's not going to work. You motherfuckers are being shambles, man. The whole world would be in the whole world would be in shambles, bro.
Oppression. Men do
gotta
not have
rethink
the
our
right
foreign
to face
policy.
their
All right, better
accuser
change it,
in
okay.
court when they have a false allegation and for personal protection orders that strips constitutional rights away from the man. Women go before a judge and say they don't feel safe, and more than likely a PP order will be issued. The man was not in court, had no say, has no defense, and does not get to face his accuser. That is done en masse, and many servicemen and first responders lose their careers over this because it strips a man's Second Amendment rights away based on no evidence. Men
Where are
do
you
not have
getting
the
that
right to
information
raise
from?
their children. Divorce is no fault, but when it comes to child custody, it's always the man's fault. He loses his children to the system. 96 hours a month the father does not make. Men have longer prison sentences. Women get a third of the time for the same crime. Where are the feminists fighting for equality on that?
Said women get less prison time than men do for the same crime. Well, she's like, well, where the feminists at? The feminists supposed to be standing up saying, listen, man, we want equal time for the equal crime. But who the fuck gonna do that? Who's gonna just bury themselves in the grass like that? That's why the whole situation doesn't even make sense. Even if women came out really fighting for equality, everybody would look at them like they're nuts. They'd be like, like what? They'd be like, huh?
That issue. There has been rampant discrimination against better qualified men in hiring across multiple industries. Men pay more child support, and child support orders are not enforced at the same rates between men and women. Women are more likely
women pay
not
child
to
support.
pay
Fascinating.
and are prosecuted for non-payment at lower rates. Men cannot opt out of parenthood. Men have very few domestic violence shelters and are not taken seriously when they're domestic violence victims.
I agree on that. I do
White
agree
men
on
in
that.
particular, are discriminated against when it comes to hiring and educational attainment.
True.
The Duluth model is a model that law enforcement, courts, and counselors use automatically that assumes men are the aggressor. The tender years doctrine is a guideline in divorce used to...
Yeah, you can have a street fight. Two guys can have a street fight. Most likely, y'all just punch each other, bruise each other up, and y'all, act like y'all got some sense when the police get there. A lot of times, you ain't gonna go to jail. They just gonna tell y'all to go y'all separate ways. Trust me on this, I know. Okay? So, man gets into a fight with a woman. All right, let me rewind this back. Let me slow this up real quick. Two guys get into a fight, right? And they bust each other up a little bit, bad. Both of them, they fucked up. Face little, they look like they just got into a fight. So, police show up. If the police shows up and they're still coherent, they still act like they got some sense, they're not going crazy, there's no weapons involved, then most likely the police, they're not going to lock you up. They're just going to say, go your separate ways, you have a way to get home, blah, 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 blah. All right? Nothing was broken, just a regular fist fight. You get into if a man gets into a fist fight with a woman and the police show up and both y'all busted up, it might not even go that way. Or let's just say, I'll take that back. Let's just say that the man isn't busted up, but the woman's busted up. They're not going to want to hear nothing about nothing. But coming at this from an equality standpoint, we got to say to ourselves, well, okay, well, this man and this woman just got into a fight, but you guys will be okay. You guys will be okay. Don't worry about it. Just go y'all separate ways. That's never going to happen. Even if they fight for equality, the world themselves are not ever going to truly find men and women equal. They're not. Because they're not. It's just like it doesn't matter how many gender conversations you can have about what a man and a female is. Goddamn, at the end of the fucking day, all that's entertaining is good for us to watch on TV when we had a bad day. But the truth be told, we know what the hell a man and a woman is. We know it. All right? Straight like that.
Justify removing the father from the child's life. The only institutional sexism that exists is institutional sexism that discriminates against men in favor of women. Furthermore, U.S. courts do not require receipts to show how that money is spent by the custodial parent unless there's overwhelming evidence of starvation, malnutrition, or severe child abuse. There are numerous reports of custodial
You want the
parents
government
spending the
to check receipts and see,
Let's let her respond to some of that.
Hold on, let's understand something. You want government to be so big that you literally have the government looking at receipts to see what a mother is spending the money on? That's insane.
Hell fucking yeah. Absolutely. Hell fucking yeah, absolutely. How do you know it's going to the child? Oh, we just supposed to believe it is. I can dig it. She said that.
I want no child support, no alimony, 50-50.
Yeah, because you're crazy and you don't live in reality.
I want equality. I'm more of a feminist than you, Anna. Because I say if you want to vote, be in selective service. Be on the front lines just like the men are.
Who do you think gives birth?
What the fuck? She said, who do you think gives birth to these men? You only give birth to them, Slim, because... I can dig it. Now I see. Now I get it now. I get it. She ain't trying to go on that front line. She said, hell no. I ain't about to go out here and get slaughtered like these. I ain't about to go on the front line like these men do. I ain't about to be carrying these heavy ass guns and backpack and have people shooting at me, killing me, trying to kidnap me and stuff. She said, I ain't doing all that. She said, hell no. We'd be crazy to do that. She said, I'm going to sit at home and let the men take care of that. You know, we sit home in America and we make sure, the infrastructure's running, the lights are on, the plumbing is working, the cars are being bred, all that. I'm going to stay here and be safe. As you fucking should. Right? We don't want to see you out there either looking crazy. All right? That's going to fuck up our mental. All right? But look, she said, then she snapped back. She said, well, and this is, I swear to God, this is every woman's fucking rebuttal. I swear to God, it doesn't fail. It doesn't fail. I've been on Earth for goddamn 40 years, man. I've been on here for a little bit of time. All right? And I'm going to tell you straight up. The go-to when everything fails is, who do you think birthed these men? Yeah. Like now they will have a good point if women got pregnant on their own. They was asexual and they could just pop out babies. Now that you ain't gonna be able to fuck with that. There would be nothing men can say. At that point, you are truly the creator. But in this situation, we all understand that sweetie, you didn't raise them kids by yourself. You didn't have that baby by yourself. 50 is DNA from both parents that goes into that DNA. Okay, that's what that is. And then on top of that, when you're pregnant, there's not much you can do. So you have community efforts around you helping you out because you're at your most vulnerable state when you're pregnant. So that doesn't really work. It's not like you had the baby on your own. It's not like you delivered the baby on your own and you went through 9 months. Hey, I got a baby in my stomach. I can still work. No. You had to be taken care of when you had that baby. And number one, unless that sperm hits them eggs are dead. Okay? You don't even have the ability to move the egg. But I'm not going to take nothing away from birth because birth is a beautiful thing. But we got to we don't want to try to manipulate the whole situation because that's what every woman goes to. Well, we birthed you. We birthed all of y'all. We birthed all of y'all. We birthed all of y'all. Well, how did you birth this? Because a man put his sperm inside of you. That's what happens.
Birth to and raise.
These conversations get a little weird for me because I'm not a fan of women versus men. That's like dumb as shit. But for some reason today, this is a thing. This is a thing. It's all this whole back and forth men and women type shit. I get it. I understand the words. It is what it is. But it's almost like, you know why they say save women and children? Because there's not really too difference between the two. So I don't really, it annoys me to have these type of conversations with women as if though, like I was having them with my child. It'd just be like, you have to just let them say whatever you want because if you come down too hard on them, you turn into a misogynist or you turn into an evil guy. No different with children. You come down too hard on them, it's like, oh, they feel bad. You got to make it up to them. Their feelings get hurt. You come down hard on the man. He needs that. Totally two different ball games. Totally two different dynamics, right? So I'm not a fan of these type conversations, but I do thought this was interesting because I've known Pearl since way back, man. When the girl admitted some crazy, crazy stuff.
Raises those soldiers.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because you assert that women shouldn't be allowed to vote because they're not all in mandatory military service.
I say be equal. You want to vote, do what the men do. Men are fined $125,000.
Should women be included in combat?
Men
Should women
Yeah, you should be included in combat. Get your ass out there and pick up a gun. That's if you want equality, though. What the fuck is going on? Why would you ask that question? You fighting for equality and then you ask, should women fight in combat? Yeah.
be included in combat?
Yes.
Okay.
Do what the men
Fair.
do.
Fair.
Do what the men do.
Yeah.
That would be equality.
Fair. Agreed. Next. Next? Nothing? Okay. I want to know what your ideal woman is, because if you are a traditional conservative woman
Fucking quiet one. Jesus Christ.
who's married, staying at home, raising kids, you trash them.
There's no such thing as a traditional woman.
You ain't lied about that one, Shawty. You ain't lied about that one.
They cannot,
But that's okay,
they
though.
cannot
It's okay.
be traditional in 2025 because women will always have the leverage.
What does that mean? What does it mean that women
Because-
will always have the leverage?
Women have child support to fall back on. Women have alimony. So automatically,
10% of divorces end with
It
alimony settlements.
and
10%.
and they go.
You just ignore the
from-
stats.
They
You
go
just move
from
on.
men to women. They go from men to women. Billions of dollars every year.
I thought you said earlier that
billions
women
of
are paying
dollars of-
alimony.
Billions of dollars of wealth every year is transferred from men to women. Mm-hmm.
Based on what? Where are you
through
getting that
family
information from?
court.
Are you just making it up?
Look, we have it. We're excited. We can get it to you at the end. You didn't want to submit. Where are your sources? You didn't want to submit them ahead of time. You didn't.
The Census Bureau, Bureau of Labor Statistics, I cited everything I mentioned. Pull it up. Pearl.
See, she got caught out there again. See? Let me tell you something. It don't matter how right you are. It's all about the perception. All right? So clearly, when you're having these type conversations, you got to make sure you're well prepared. And again, I'm in agreement 100% with Pearl. But what fucked her up in this debate is that she wasn't prepared. She looks a little off too, though, but it's okay. No worries, though. But let this be a lesson to her. If you're gonna come up, if you're gonna get on stage, all right, and you're gonna rock with the killers, you're gonna have to make sure that you do your proper research, and make sure you on point. People think debating is easy, but it's not. It's not easy at all. It's easy talking on the microphone, or talking to yourself in the mirror, or listening to someone else talking, giving you feedback. But having a conversation with somebody that's having an opposing stance in you, then you really start to see whether or not you really know what the fuck you're talking about or not.
Main thing I want people to
And
understand.
the crazy thing about it is that Pearlie's right. She just don't have the numbers and statistics to back it up. Whether she forgot them, whether she didn't look it up, whether she couldn't remember them, unprepared, didn't think she was going to ask that question. Nonetheless, she doesn't have them, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not here to make excuses, right? You either got them or you don't.
Okay, Pearl's gonna trash women no matter what. That's fine.
I'm not trashing.
But my
them.
biggest gripe with you is you're discouraging people from entering marriages.
I don't tell men what to do. Sell me on.
You
okay,
advise
Anna,
men to avoid marriage.
Sell me on marriage. What do men get out of marriage?
Now, this is okay.
That's sad. It's
So
sad
this
that
is a tricky one, right? So she said, what does men get out of marriage? This is tricky. If you're a regular dude, you're getting a partner. You're getting a partner. If you're a regular dude, average dude working, you're getting a partner that can assist you in everyday life as you're building yourself a companion. That's what you're getting. If you are a wealthy man in the top 10%, that woman has nothing to offer you. Nothing. Nothing. At that point, she just becomes a liability. But if you're just a regular guy, like you regular guy, and we got the economy that we got. Let's say you making $80,000 a year, she making $80,000 a year. Y'all put that shit together, y'all good. Depending, right? And that's companionship, the love, the children, helping partner, all that's great. But if you got a guy that's like a millionaire, or he's in the top 10% or 1% of men, at that moment, the woman doesn't really offer him anything. You can't motivate the man because the man's already rich. He's been motivated. He doesn't need you to clean his home. His home is already clean. Or he can hire somebody else to do it. Okay? Or there'll be a bunch of other women out here that'll be lined up to do it. You're not really going to, you can't buy him any fucking thing. Because, I mean, so it kind of, sex, he can get that anytime he wants if he's rich or he's that type of guy. So, when she's saying, hey, do these women have value? What do they offer? I think women offer a whole lot if you're dating a regular guy. Of course, y'all need each other in this economy. But if you decide you want to date one of them upper tier guys that's making all that bread, at that point, you're worthless. There's nothing you can give him. But other than cooperation. But he don't even really need that from you. He can you just get the fuck on. He can find somebody else. So, you got to break that down. That was a tricky one, but nonetheless, I get it.
People think that. It really is. You get a partner, you get a teammate, you get to build a life together, and it's beautiful.
Yo, men in the audience like, that ain't enough.
I feel like misery loves company in this situation. And how would you know what you get out of marriage if you haven't experienced marriage in the first place? I'm not...
The same. How do you know what marriage offers if you haven't been married in the first place? That's like, what can we equate this to? That's like, how do you know what giraffes eat if you never had a giraffe? How can you speak about lions if you never had one? I ain't never had a goddamn lion before, okay? I can't even remember the last time I seen one close up. I can break down everything that they do and why they do it. Yep. Everything. We'll bust your ass when it comes to lions and nomads. All right? Anyway, we're going to get into that right now. So I think that was a dumb question. Right now, she's fighting for survival.
saying that as a personal attack. I really hope...
Look. Pearl look uncomfortable as hell. She over there praying this girl don't ask her for another goddamn statistic. That motherfucker praying. Please don't ask me for another statistic. Please don't ask me for another statistic. Oh, she gonna get you.
That Pearl meets the love of her life and gets married. It's not about that. But you trash it without really understanding what the benefits are.
Why do we have phrases like it's cheaper to keep her?
Yep.
Pearl,
Answer the question.
divorce is...
Yeah, man, most of these men don't even want to be with you, man. They just ain't trying to fuck up their bank. Can you imagine that, bro? Can you imagine that the husband that you have, the husband you sit next to, or you wake up to every morning, do you realize that if this motherfucker could leave you without you worrying about you taking his kids or his money, he'll probably dip out. And a lot of times, the younger ones, the regular guys, just stay inside the marriage because they don't have what it takes to live without you. You know, who's gonna watch the kids and stuff like that? They don't really men don't really want you. That'd be like the biggest. That'd be like the biggest issue right there. We get this shit tagged up. Rich men, when they in bad relationships, you will never even know that they don't like their wife because they ain't trying to fuck up all the money that they work to get where they are today. Just for her to run out and just start buying shit and just split the whole fucking family up, right? Remember, there has to be an adult in the family. Women and children because, goddamn it, we understand ain't too much difference between the two. Then the regular guy who doesn't have that much money, he's not going to leave because he actually needs that woman's half of the fucking rent. You know, this has nothing to do with, oh, you're such a great woman, we just want to be. Nah, men be out here strategizing, man. They be out this motherfucker strategizing. They strategize so good, they trick them damn selves. They really play the role. Be careful who you pretend to be because at the end you are who you pretend to be. Remember that.
Is expensive. And by the way, on purpose to discourage people from getting divorced in the first place.
Why do we have phrases like happy wife, happy life?
Because it's true.
Now listen, this is the killer part. This is where she sunk the ship. She asked her, why do we have phrases like happy wife, happy life? She said, because it's true. Then she goes on to say, just like how you have happy husband, happy life. I don't want to come home to my husband. But here's the thing. That's not a phrase. People don't go around saying, happy husband, happy life. 9 times out of 10, nobody really gives a fuck how the husband feels. He should be glad that he's in your presence.
Same with happy husband, happy life. I don't want to come home.
But that's not a phrase, though. But see, and this is the manipulation that goes on. That's not even a phrase. But if you don't catch this, shit with a keen ear, it's gonna go right over your head.
Home to an angry husband.
But that's not a phrase.
Do you have any
is it?
other like
Not a goddamn
catchphrase or slogan you want to throw at me?
What do men get out of marriage?
They get a partner.
That gains 25 pounds in the first 5 years.
Men get pretty fat too. I don't know if you've done a comparative analysis on that. They actually end up gaining more weight than their wives do. And who cares?
Well, first of all, men are supposed to be bigger than women. But I'm not gonna get into that right now. That's a whole nother fucking subject. Like with these conversations right here, you can have deep rabbit holes. They can fly off the hinges, man.
Men?
I mean, have a conversation with your partner. Encourage her. Be an adult.
How can men and women be equal?
Especially if she's giving you
How can men
children.
and women be equal when one is expected to die for the other?
I don't expect.
Now she's gonna tell this bullshit. She doesn't expect her husband to die for her. That's what she's gonna say. It's all cap. Okay? It's all cap. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you know, these debates are cool, but they become very disingenuous over time. Because again, nobody wants to be wrong, right? So, you know damn well if somebody breaks inside of her house and her husband doesn't go downstairs and put his life on the line, she's not gonna ever look at him the same way again. Okay, if intruders come inside the house, she's gonna turn into woman mode. All that goddamn equality shit's gonna go right the fuck out the window. All right? Okay. Come on now, let's be honest here.
To anyone.
You know, if a guy comes out on the street and snatches her purse while she's with her man and he doesn't do anything, he just sits there, he's gonna be reprimanded by the women and the men. Okay? She's gonna be upset and everybody else is gonna be upset with her. They're gonna be like, "Dang man, you with this woman, you know, and you just gonna let another man come up and take her purse? You under her protection. You go out on a date and you supposed to be able to die for that woman." But here she goes. "Oh, I don't expect no one to die." Man, fellas, take notes. The motherfuckers come in the door, send her ass downstairs with the shotgun. Send her down there, motherfucker. Now, don't do this case study with a chick you like, because she might not come back.
To die for anyone else. I don't know what that even comes from.
Yeah, but men are willing to die for you every day.
Every damn day of the week, man. These members are dying for you so you can sit on TV, sit on the internet that they created, talk on the phones that they created, do all this goddamn shit that they made, and you sitting here talking about some, you know, you don't need nobody to die for me. That's because you don't know what the fuck you need. You don't know what the hell you need. You know, that's why you need to sit back and let men take care of it.
Police force, the men in the military.
What about the women in the police force?
They're
The fuck? Just like that shit don't count. Yo, man, listen, every time I worked with women, son, you got to do your job, man, half their fucking job too, man. They can't even lift the goddamn boxes. They can't drive the fucking forklifts. They don't do none of that shit. Yeah, I had to kirk out on a chick one time because she's sitting there every time she's in a department, there's a goddamn male in there. "Hey, can you help me lift these boxes?" No, bitch, you lift the goddamn boxes. She was damn near my size. I'm sorry, y'all. The fuck? Female officers, man. A male officer never want no female part. You gonna get your ass killed trying to save her. And who gonna take you seriously if you roll up with the chick? You got 8 gang members outside. You roll up. They got guns. You got guns, nigga. You got fucking a chick with you. Get the fuck out of here, man. Yo, praise God. You know what, God? Your children are amazing, man. Everybody's beautiful on planet Earth. I love everybody. Everybody's amazing in their own individual way. I'm lying, but that's what I'm supposed to say.
10%, and they cause so many problems.
Who cares what percentage women make up of the police force?
Yeah,
They're in the
they
police
can't-
force.
they
My
can't-
sister-in-law's a cop, actually.
They can't do the same jobs. There's videos on the internet
should see my
everywhere of
sister-in-law.
women getting their guns taken because they're not strong enough.
Something else you should see my sister-in-law. Shut the okay. No doubt.
Are you just making things up? Pearl, what are you doing? Like, seriously. Next question.
realize how good you have it in this country?
Absolutely. Best country in the world.
Okay.
And you get the
Well,
life
well, at least you got that one right.
to live the life you live at the expense of men.
No, that's not true.
That is true.
It is true. I mean, all the way down to the microphones they're talking on, to the speakers, to the fucking stage, the goddamn screens in the back, the tech, the cars, the roads, the buildings and the hospitals, medicine. I mean, it's all made by men, yo. The wars that are being conquered. I mean, the plumbers, the electricians. You know, your car gets fucked up. You don't really call a woman to come work on it. Your plumbing is fucked up. In your home, you don't call a woman to show up to fix your plumbing. Imagine working on the city's plumbing. Men show up and keep the world running. Electricians, soldiers, cops, military. Yes, you're able to live this life at the expense of men. Men have all the way down to fucking roads, man. Cars. And this is not a bad thing. This isn't like a shot, but I mean, only thing the girl was basically trying to tell her is that, yo, you have these freedoms because of the expense of men. What the fuck she think? You ask what women have contributed to society. They got one fucking job. That's to have babies. And they can't even do that shit by themselves. You need a man to do it with you. One fucking job. We don't ask you motherfuckers to climb in the sewers on the fucking goddamn hot wires and shit. None of that. You get to save jobs behind communications and shit and chilling while the real men are out here making the world run. Right? So I mean that's all. That's not misogynist. That's not me attacking. That's just what it fucking is. Women have one fucking job, and that's to give birth to these great men so we can keep the world running. One job, and in that one job, they can't even do that by themselves because, of course, it needs two people to have a baby, right? This is not shots, man. This is just facts. All right?
Show me how.
You know what else is a fact? My breath stink right now. Hey, I ain't tripping. So facts are okay.
Do you know how many men die every year? There are men that die every year to
That bitch is a psychopath. Both of them psychopaths, yo. What was that?
get you crab.
How many women die every year during childbirth?
Not many.
This country has the highest maternal mortality rate of any developed country, so a lot of women do die as a result of pregnancy and childbirth, yes. This is painful, man. Do you have any other questions for me?
Not right now.
All right.
All right, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that. I'll probably finish it tomorrow. I don't know, but that was a good conversation. I lean more on Pearl's side as far as the debate goes, but I do understand where women are confused at in this topic. I do understand where the confusion is. I really do. And the only way to defeat that confusion is to have more conversations about it. You know, not to get them to understand, but at least there's a digital blueprint. A lot of the internet is for digital blueprints. It's not going to really change people's minds, but when humanity goes through what it's going to go through, we'll have the digital blueprint. We'll be able to go back and say, hey, we told y'all this was going to happen. Video after video after video after video after video. So these conversations are not meant to help nobody because these people can't be helped. But what these conversations are for digital footprints, meaning we're going to go back in history and say, hey, we tried to warn you about these things. We got all the evidence, all the data, all the videos on YouTube from several different people saying the same, giving you the same data in the same situations. With that being said, I'm out. Appreciate you for watching. Love.